This is CNN 10's second and last show of the week. We'll be offline for the Thanksgiving holiday and return next Monday, November 27th. I'm Carl Azuz. Thank you for watching. First story we're explaining today, North Korea has been added to the U.S. government's list of state sponsors of terrorism. That list now includes 4 countries, Iran, Sudan, Syria, and once again, North Korea. It was on the list before from 1988 to 2008. But in that year, then President George W. Bush took North Korea off the list because it had agreed to reverse its nuclear program. The deal fell through. North Korea continued to develop its nuclear weapons technology, and U.S. President Donald Trump says in addition to that, the East Asian country has repeatedly sponsored acts of terrorism, including assassinations of people in other countries. What being on this list means: more U.S. sanctions and penalties on North Korea. It also opens the door for America to punish people or countries that trade with North Korea. The decision had some bipartisan support in Congress. Last month, 12 U.S. senators, 6 Republicans and 6 Democrats, had urged the Trump administration to do this. It's a way for the U.S. to increase pressure on the East Asian country to give up its nuclear program. We don't know yet how or if North Korea will respond, but we'll keep you updated in the days ahead. Next, the U.S. Army is on a mission to recruit 80,000 new soldiers by next year. It's easier said than done. Many people don't meet the military's requirements to join. Weight, age, drug use, medical conditions, criminal records, they can all keep someone out. But in some cases, the Army offers waivers that will allow someone to serve even if he or she doesn't meet all the requirements. And according to a recent report by USA Today, an Army policy that went into effect in August could open the branch's doors wider. Specifically, people who've hurt themselves, who've used certain drugs, or who've been diagnosed with depression or bipolar disorder can now apply for waivers. The Army says it has not changed its medical entrance standards for people with mental health issues, but critics say expanding the waivers it offers could come with certain risks.
I will support
and defend
the
Constitution of the United States against all enemies.
The Constitution of the United States against all enemies.
It just got real for about a dozen recruits in Paris, California. Administering the oath, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Friend, one of the few surviving Tuskegee Airmen.
And that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
And I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
It's hard to hear, but the words are powerful. I will support and defend the Constitution against all enemies. De'Ara Neal is one of the Army's star recruits. She has a degree in biology, chemistry, and nutrition, and a deep love of country.
When the oath was being read, what was going through your mind?
I was nervous and excited and emotional. Serving your country is a very big deal, and I don't ever want to take that lightly.
How many regular Army? Regular Army? Okay, and how many Army Reserve? I mean, the difference, okay.
Major General Jeff Snow is in charge of recruitment. His mission? To enlist the largest class of men and women since 9/11.
So how difficult is your job at the moment on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's somewhere between an 8 and a 9.
Recruitment is tough because America is too fat to fight. Only 31% of recruits meet the Army's weight standards. Other contributing factors? Dangerous missions overseas, and a booming economy that makes Army life and the relatively meager salary that comes with it a difficult sell.
I have heard that the military is lowering some of its standards as far as people getting in. What about other blemishes on their record, like petty crimes or stuff like that?
So what we do is we take a look at what was the nature of that particular, say it's a crime, and look at it. You know, did it happen as a juvenile? Did it happen as an adult? What was the characterization? Was it an isolated incident, or was it a pattern of misconduct? If it's an isolated incident, there is a waiver process, and I think they can overcome it and still serve.
But lowering standards like the military did after 9/11 allowed people to serve who never should have graced the uniform. Former Sergeant Bo Bergdahl, who was court-martialed for deserting his post, comes to mind. A psychologist who testified for the defense says Bergdahl should never have served because of mental health issues in his background. General Snow is painfully aware of that.
You are correct. In some cases, we made a number, but we did not meet the standard. And those of us that led soldiers in combat saw that. And the guidance from the leadership is very clear now. There is a Department of Defense standards, and we are not going to lower standards.
A war is being waged for control of a lake that's on the border of Texas and Louisiana. This doesn't involve people fighting people, but people fighting giant salvinia, a fern from Brazil that's causing a lot of problems in other parts of the world. You can kill it by spraying chemicals, and government officials are. But some volunteers are also fighting salvinia naturally.
I've been all over this lake for 62 years. Never seen nothing like this has happened in my lifetime.
Well, it's certainly not our friend.
Oh, they say it doubles in size every 4 to 5 days.
And it has real long tentacles under the water.
It is literally a monster that is overtaking one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
The weevils are the best bet because it's nature fighting nature.
If it wasn't for the weevils, we'd be in bad trouble right now.
This is giant salvinia. Scientists call it the world's worst weed. On the surface, it looks friendly enough. It's bright green, fuzzy, and it has small oval leaves. But make no mistake, it is a lake killer.
Giant salvinia is an invasive species from Brazil that first appeared in Texas in 1998.
Under ideal conditions, it can cover 40 square miles in 3 months.
Boats can't drive through it. Native plants can't grow underneath it, and fish and other wildlife struggle to survive. For 20 years we've tried to get rid of it. Somebody even tried to kill it with a blowtorch once. Today, we use an integrated approach to manage salvinia, including a very small and unique insect from Brazil.
By 2013, a group of us became convinced that weevils held promise to combat giant salvinia. So we organized a grassroots effort to build a weevil greenhouse here in uncertain Texas.
The main goal of the greenhouse is to raise a large army of weevils with a diet of fresh salvinia, and once their numbers expand to a certain level, then we take them out onto the lake. I've never raised bugs before, and I'm not an entomologist. Everyone here is a volunteer, and the reason we're doing this is because we care about the lake. To date, we have raised 350,000 weevils. This is not an easy fight, but it's worth trying to do this. They'll continue to do it, I'll continue to do it, and most people down here will continue to do what they can to save this lake.
Until yesterday, only one stadium, one facility in the whole world had hosted the Olympics, the Super Bowl, and the Final Four. It was the Georgia Dome, a stone's throw from CNN Center. It's been there for 25 years. But yesterday morning, in less than 25 seconds, poof, at least mostly. Parts of the dome were still standing after a possible malfunction with the explosives. It'll take 3 months to clean up the area. After that, a hotel, some green space, and parking for the new stadium next door will fill the Georgia Dome's footprint. It's a big shoe to fill. A stadium that once seemed indomitable no longer dominates the skyline. Now, we wouldn't say it fell flat, but the sight is certainly disconcerting to fans who are not in agreement with the dome's decision and feel kind of dumbfounded. Luckily, the new venue nearby is pretty stadium impressive. I'm Carl Azuz, and we're thankful for all the turkeys in our audience and wishing you a very happy Thanksgiving.